I wanted to talk to my sisters about health and all its dimensions. And I think one of the reasons why we were probably a little bit hesitant is because we've been through such a difficult season.
Well, in talking about it during our comeback.
It was the stress of what was happening. I was completely out of balance. That's what stress does.
Your cortisol levels go up. Financially, we were broke, we didn't have no money. And I was like, what in the hell is going on? God, I've been following you. I've been trusting you. What are you doing?
But if I really thought about it, my worst health was probably, honestly, when I was in a bad car accident at 11 and couldn't walk again.
I gained a lot of weight. I wasn't happy.
And that actually came after I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism. Exercising, I wouldn't lose any weight. You get really tired.
I mean, people talk about post-traumatic stress, but they also talk about post-traumatic growth. And I think we grew also through that.
You do have a choice, but we're choosing to learn from it and move forward and allow it to help us to grow.
So when I think about health, I'm talking holistically. It's not just physical health, but mental health and spiritual health and financial health.
And my spiritual health is actually what gives me strength and what actually helps me through a lot of stuff. That was Mom. She was a bright light, and people were just like, wait, she's sick? She was stage 4.
And she ministered to the people in the hospital.
Yes.
And she would just be praying over them. And God provided every time. We've all know what it looks like to be in really strong health, and we're not exactly there. And that's a vulnerable place to be. But we all have a vision for what it looks like to be on the other side.
I keep it bouncy, girls. No, they don't doubt me, yeah, they around me, yeah, they remind me, you know I'm bouncy, you know I keep it bouncy,
Hey guys, it's Carlos Watson back with another edition of the Watson Stronger Together. Today I wanted to talk to my sisters about health, and I want to talk about health in all its dimensions. And I think one of the reasons why we were probably a little bit hesitant is because we've been through such a difficult season. We feel like it's impacted our health.
Right.
And so talking about that in its own way is kind of a challenge.
Well, in talking about it during our comeback.
Yes.
Yeah. Ooh, what a good way to put it, during our comeback. Yeah.
Because I think we've all know what it looks like to be in really strong health, and we're not exactly there. And that's a vulnerable place to be. But we all have a vision for what it looks like to be on the other side.
And I feel like we picked up some things along the way. I mean, people talk about post-traumatic stress, but they also talk about post-traumatic growth. And I think we grew also through that. I mean, I don't mean to sound Pollyannish about it, but you almost don't have a choice but to learn.
You do
from
have
it.
a choice. You do have a choice, but we're choosing to learn from it. And
Absolutely.
we're choosing
Better said.
to move forward and to help it. Allow it to help us to grow.
And I really appreciate how we think expansively about health. It's not just physical health, but mental health and spiritual health and financial health. And
Relational health.
Absolutely. And I think thinking about all those dimensions of holistic health is how we get to the right path.
Indeed. Carol, so what is the least healthy you think you've been, and what is the most healthy you think you've been? And give a number to it and give a time frame.
Most healthy would be, I guess, 2 different times. One when I was younger, high school. I didn't even realize it, but I was when I was running track, and I was really just energetic. I was really very much into the church, and had a lot of great friends, tithing. So financially and relationally, I think really great. Second time, I think, was might be during my doctorate, actually, because that's when I would again, I had a really strong community, something called we had a group called CBMI, Chris Burgess Ministries Incorporated, and like on every...
You had a great women's Bible study group that was loaded with talented, interesting women.
Oh, that's your one.
Yes,
that was really, loaded with interesting women.
It was
amazing.
Wonderful in New York City.
In New York City.
Like professional folks, but you had artists, you had lawyers, you had doctors, you had teachers, you had students.
And so scale of 1 to 10, you'd say you were what during that time?
Oh, I was like 9, I think, 9.5.
9, wow.
So physically, I was really great. Yeah. Spiritually, I was really great. Financially, not so well, but it was fine because I was in school, so it was cool.
So what's the lowest you've been at? And what's that number?
The lowest, probably like a 4. One was during my marriage, I gained a lot of weight. And I wasn't happy, but I don't think I really realized how unhappy I was. But I had gained a lot of weight. Spiritually, I was fighting to believe that it was gonna work out. Financially, we were broke. We didn't have no money. And relationally was fine, but I was lower there. And spiritually, I didn't understand what God was doing during my marriage and afterwards. And then was also, when I first moved to California, I thought I was going to get married before then. And I was dating this guy, thought we were going to get married. We didn't get married. And I was like, what in hell is going on? God, I've been following you. I've been trusting you. I've been, what are you doing? So I think that was a really hard time season where it's hard to really believe. So that was more spiritually.
Yeah.
Okay.
2. So I think about 2 times in which I was the healthiest, and I think it really sometimes manifests itself physically. When I did the triathlon, when I was a young lawyer, and I had a wonderful group of friends at the law firm.
And what was your number on a scale of 1 to 10?
I feel like that was a 9.5.
You guys hand out 9s easily. Okay, all right.
No, that was really good, actually.
Okay.
But the last one was more recently, I say within the last 5 years, in which, frankly, it was like my worst. So I lost, Carolyn and I actually went to this wellness architect over here and lost about 25 pounds within like a month, 2 months by doing the nutraceuticals. But I was at such a state because it was the stress of what was happening with you. It was of being a new mom and all the stuff that I just like let myself go, and it wasn't good. And I could feel my body saying, no mas. And so did something.
Are you saying that's the lowest?
There was the lowest and then the highest.
So
that was one of the lowest you're saying?
Lowest was what number?
So that lowest was like, I was completely out of balance. That was like 4 or 5.
Interesting. So I would say.
I know when yours was.
Oh, you do?
Uh-huh.
When would you say?
Achiever.
You say highest or lowest?
Lowest. You had a lot of weight.
Yeah, I gained 40 pounds. I wasn't eating well.
Right.
I wasn't really exercising.
Right.
I had bad knees that needed surgery.
So that's when we were running our college prep center.
That's when we were running the college prep business. Interesting, yeah, from a health perspective. And then the best health I've been in was probably shortly after that, when I not only lost it, but was exercising.
Yeah.
I got my legs the strongest they were. I was playing basketball in the sun. I was getting to travel a lot. And so, that probably was a highlight health wise. So I would say, where would I say my health got to? Well, I guess if I'm really, so I would say 4 for the story I shared before and 8.5 for the high. If I were to share, but if I really thought about it, my worst health was probably honestly when I was in a bad car accident, 11, and couldn't walk again, right? And so that's probably
2.
A 2. Guys, so walk me through again where you feel like your health is now. Like, Bev, where do you feel like your health has been and where is it now?
I've had seasons of being extremely healthy and good, which I've loved. I ran a triathlon, my first one, Olympic size, and which I was fearful of, like swimming in mile open body water swim. It was a
25 miles
25 bike ride and a 10-mile running. And so
the sprint triathlon.
Yeah.
Oh my. Okay.
Well, it's called Olympic size.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was like great. And that actually came after I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism. My thyroid gland doesn't produce enough hormones. And so my metabolism's a little bit wacky. So even if I was exercising, I wouldn't lose any weight. You get really tired. And so when I was in law school, I knew, I'm like, my gosh, why am I so tired? I slept like 9 hours. And I remember getting really tired. And when I got diagnosed, I was like, oh, and then I lost a lot of weight. And After that is when I did the triathlon.
You lost weight because you took medicine.
Oh, right. Yes.
Okay.
I lost weight because I took medicine to counteract the hypothyroidism, which happens to a lot of women, usually in their sort of 40s or 50s. It happened to be in my 20s. So my journey with health has varied. I always eat well. But the first time when I was 16, I went to Brazil and I found cake. I found the pastry. And so even though I was a basketball player, I would eat a piece of cake every day. So I came back and I gained 15 pounds.
You had the fresh and 15 early.
Yes, when I was 16, and Mom's like, "What happened to my daughter?" But I lost it when I played basketball. So that was very funny. I know. So I think right now in my 50s, I recognize that I want to be stronger. I want to be healthier. I want to make sure that I'm carving out time for exercise. This past couple of months, we haven't had additional childcare, so it's been harder to get away to the gym. So I found in 3 months, my conditioning is gone. And so I am really thoughtful about how I can make sure that I have quality life for myself and for little Carlinos. And so whether that means, and I guess many women our age are thinking about hormone replacement therapy or other things to make sure that not only does our body strong, but also that it's working and it doesn't have some little aches and pains. And so that does mean doing something, I think, a little bit different than what I'm doing, whether that's eating, more exercise, and more just pause. I don't know, Karis, what do you think?
Well, and also that you can have the energy too, right? Because we've always had a lot of energy, stamina, right? And able.
Especially that guy.
Right. Yeah. Being able to do it. But it's interesting. I remember when I got married and we went into some store and this woman being because we both must have gained a couple pounds and we were talking about that. And she's like, it's so easy for men nowadays to lose weight, but us women, we just keep it on forever. I was like, you keep that to yourself. I was like, but it was funny because that was the beginning of, for me, it being harder to lose weight. For me, I think I have always been very active. So in high school, I ran track. I think for me, I just always loved biking in high school, I think. And I remember I got my best.
Were you biking that early?
I was.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Well, so it happened, I think, over a summer. And my best friend Simone, she was always really thin. And I was like, Simone, come on, let's bike together. I was like, it's going to make you strong. It's going to make you really healthy. And so we both biked the whole summer. I'd go to her house, she'd come to my house, and we would travel different places. I lost a lot of weight. And so I was like, yeah, girl, you look good. And then she went back to school. She's like, Carolyn, you lied. She's like, people tell me how much I've lost weight and I've gotten skinnier.
You're saying a skinny person got skinnier.
Yes, a skinny person got skinnier.
Which she didn't want.
Correct. So I was all excited.
Yeah.
But that was the start of my biking
experience.
And I used to go swimming. I remember I used to come home from school and I would go in the backyard and I would just swim. I would just do laps back and forth. And that was a really, activity was always something that was really big for me. And if I gained weight, I can just get on the treadmill. I can just start running outside. I can do something and it would leave really quickly and easily. I think about my 40s is when it would go, but it was taking some more time to go. And I didn't appreciate that. Yeah. I didn't appreciate that at all. And so it's interesting because now I think of health as energy levels, right? I think of it as regulation. How do you regulate? When you're sometimes feeling just overwhelmed or you're tired and whatnot. And so for me, it's not just one thing. It takes a cycle. It takes a variety of things, right? Because for me, when I'm on a good run, then it's a cyclical effect. Everything kind of goes together. So if I'm starting to eat healthier, then I start exercising. As I'm exercising, I'm craving more healthy foods, right? If I'm not exercising and I'm just sort of chilling, I want the Doritos, right? So Doritos are more of I want the Doritos. I'll take some brownies. I'll do I want some more comfort stuff. But that's because I'm not really, if I'm not in movement. It's really this cyclical thing. When I'm doing good to my body and I'm putting in good stuff, I'm able to say no to
you're stronger.
I'm stronger. And though I also can be stronger by saying, keep it out the house.
Yeah, true that.
I don't want it, right?
Right.
So where are you today? Is that where you are today? Where are you?
Not fully. I'm in between. I'm in between. I am wanting to get better because, as you said, we haven't had childcare, so that's been hard.
And I don't even think it's just childcare. I mean, I don't know about for you guys, but I feel like it goes back to this difficult season. That I feel like in the midst of that, while I think we did get some exercise and things, I think, at least me, I think I certainly gained weight in that time. And I certainly got into different shape than I had been before. And while at times I made some progress against that, I think that my current level is fundamentally different than my that drop.
I mean, that's what
absolutely.
stress does. That's what stress does.
Your cortisol levels go up.
And I think, and the adrenal glands are working overtime.
And your nervous
and so
system.
even, there was a time that I was working with nutraceuticals and a holistic nutritionist.
What is that? You're saying nutraceuticals?
We took about 50 pills a day.
Right, it was a lot of pills.
Wow.
You would take.
That doesn't even sound healthy.
No. It was vitamin D. Right. It was zinc. It was iron.
But it also was appetite suppressants too.
Oh yes,
right?
yes.
And so I think that's what kind of helped. So was that combined with?
That is so interesting how we always hide stuff within stuff.
I know, but that was there.
Combined with don't leave that out. The infrared light treatments
yes.
I love, and you get rash.
Yes.
And so you'd have 2 or 3 per day.
So when I think about my best health, I think several things are involved. I think it's not just exercise, I think it's sleep.
Absolutely.
As you said.
Yes.
I think it's probably some true joy at work.
Yeah.
I think you feel like that's going well because
fulfillment. Yeah.
Not even just purpose and fulfillment, but I think because you spend so much of your day in that, if that is tumultuous or if it is unfulfilling or what have you, then I think that your emotional psyche, not to mention your mental psyche, can be really separated. I also think something you said in another conversation, I think that if part of being your healthiest self is joyful, and for me playing basketball, pickup basketball for years was joyful, so it was more, and Carol, I think you have that with riding the bike outside in the sunshine. I think that if it's not just exercise, so it's not just the sweat and that, but it's actually something that's joyful about it.
Right.
If you wanted to get a good sign of whether or not I was happy, simply ask me how many times I've played pickup basketball that week. And if the answer was 3 or more, you knew that I was doing well. And if it was less than 3, then I had some work to do. And so when I think about those things, I would add, when I think about kind of health to it. And again, I think I mean those not only for physical health, and say more about your spiritual health, because as I hear you in some of the conversations we've had, I think I hear you say that your belief, your commitment to God took a turn in your 20s.
Yeah.
And has it remained strong all the way through? And would you say your spiritual health?
Girl, so talk to me. But we also saw the power of prayer.
Yes.
I mean, I remember waking up to Mom poring over all of the bills, because many times the bills were longer than the paycheck, and she would just be praying over them, and God provided every time.
Yeah.
So I remember
meaning whether they got a second or third job, whether they got a loan or from family and friends, or even from the church,
from the church,
whether they got some accommodation on the bill from the folks, but that just to not
something
leave it out there,
but
but in terms of what they tangibly happen.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
would move
And-
from where it was.
Correct. Because there was something due, there wasn't enough. And so even I remember sometimes mom would do a post-dated check to one of the family friends and they
Right.
would provide the check and then the post-dated check. But
Essentially advance her the money.
Right.
Yeah.
So it worked out sometimes in not a way that she saw and maybe not how she saw, but it always worked out. And so I remember seeing that and understanding the power of prayer. And I, when a teenager, believed in God and would pray. I remember I went away to Brazil, and that also taught me so many things. Again, just being by yourself with a host family, but I was by myself a lot and prayer. When I came back, I'm like, what happened to my sister Carolyn?
That's when it was wild because like my 2 older siblings, you included, were off to college, I think. And Bev, you were gone.
I went
And
to Brazil, so
You went to
you were
Brazil, so
only
I was the
child.
only child.
Which is so interesting.
Right, because the 3rd out of 4 kids, I was the only child. And that was really amazing. And all of a sudden, I just remember my Sunday school teacher, Sister Hunter. She was like, well, you guys are old enough now to have your own relationship with Christ. She's like, your parents can't get you in. You know, you need to have your own relationship.
So for people who are watching and may say, I understand you talking about your faith, but how does that tie to your health? What would you tell them?
My spiritual faith and my spiritual health is actually what gives me strength and what actually helps me through a lot of stuff that's going on.
I would say the same thing. My spiritual health is as important as my physical health.
Right.
As is my mental health.
Right.
And my emotional health. And so
Would you say your spiritual health is the same as your mental health and your emotional health?
not the same, because there's sometimes I feel like I can be stronger spiritually and it might not be the physically. I mean, that happens like when you have challenges, right? You have cancer, or you have some kind of physical ailment, and yet your faith may be strong, your spiritual health may be
That was
strong.
mom. And yet she was like, because I remember
she was a bright light.
she was a bright light and people were just like, wait, she's sick? I remember actually people not even recognizing she was sick because she had such a smile and such joy. And she really, like, she was stage 4.
And
right?
she ministered to the people in the hospital.
Yes.
They loved. It was like they were getting like a love bomb.
Yeah.
And so it that was really special. I remember going to her. She went to the Redwood City campus for cancer treatment at Stanford, and she would go maybe once a week, that one, and they couldn't wait to see her because they would come in and she would just spread love, and they're like, you like light up this place. So spiritual health, I think, is different than physical health.
Right.
And I think it can complement it. So when I think about health, I'm talking holistically, and I'm talking about like what you eat, how well you sleep, resting,
Or even as a
rejuvenation.
friend's mom said to me years ago, Mrs. Epperson, if you're out there in Pittsburgh, deep breathing 10 times. Remember she used to say,
yes. That, like, I think resets your nervous system. Right?
It does. And actually, the trick is actually breathing out longer than you breathe in. So, right, you breathe in 4, you breathe out 6, right? Because you're resetting your nervous system, right? So.
Well, you know, I was just with one of our friends, Anthony Doc Hamilton, who was talking about getting older and was talking about, you know, really feeling in a tough place, feeling a little worn down physically. He's got a much longer commute now. He's got a 4-hour daily commute. He unfortunately has seen his, 4 people close to him pass in the last couple of years. And just a whole series of things have made him feel shakier and not on the same solid ground that he wants to be on. And so I think he would tell you that his health overall, his health index is lower. And yet he's a fighter. He's, as his mom once described, a strong child. He was her strong child despite all of the challenges he had. And so he's moving back. But you could tell that it really is pushing him. And I didn't ask him about this, but I think if I asked him, rate your health right now on a scale of 10, something tells me that he, I wonder what number he would have given. So before I say it, I want to ask each of you.
I know, I want to ask
you first.
I think my health is somewhere between a 7 and an 8. Now that's probably optimistic. The real answer is probably
That's very
6. But the reason I'd say it's between a 7 and an 8 is because I'm still super grateful that I sleep.
Yes.
I'm still super grateful that I can walk.
Yes.
I'm still super grateful that I have exercise that I enjoy. My weight's not exactly where I want it to be, but it's also not as far away. As you guys know, at one point I lost 40 pounds in my life. So I know where I've been when I've had a much longer way to go. So I am super grateful to, be free, to be alive, to be here, to be doing things like this with you guys. Just when I think about all the blessings I've had, the number of people who've been kind to me who didn't need to, I think my faith is stronger than it was before. I think that...
How so?
Probably 3 ways. One, in that I think I've just spent more time at church. I've spent more time with the Word. I've spent more time in prayer. I've spent more time with Pastor Herman. So I think part of it is just time. I'm also enjoying the work that we're doing. I'm enjoying building. So all of those I would say are good things. So probably if I had to do it all over again, the right answer probably is that in some ways my health is at a 6.
Your physical health.
Not just physical health, kind of overall. Because there's no way, you take some blows and you have to recover. And, the one other thing I would say that was probably good for me is I think so many people, when they encounter trauma, you want that trauma be over. And I think for whatever reason, I was willing to say to myself, nah, it's probably not going to happen the next day. It's probably going to take some time. I think the fact that I haven't, in my mind, rushed myself, I think probably also allows you to appreciate whatever progress you do make. Right.
Not only whatever progress you make, but it also allows you to allows the trauma to lessen just a little bit by actually naming it and by actually vocalizing that this is actually really, this is some tough
shit.
Yeah, tough shit. Yeah. And it's not about to stop right now, right? There's some walking that I got to go through. I think being able to be clear-minded about that, acknowledging it, and then still making a plan to go through, I think, is what's helped you as well. But that helps people when you're going through trauma, though, as opposed to just being like, oh no, that didn't really happen, or this is not happening, this is right. Like it's easy to sort of dissociate or to just hope and wish and pray. Like you said, like wishing is not a plan.
Or hope is not a plan.
Hope is not a plan.
Was what people said before. I'm at a 6. I would love to be at an 8 or even a 9. A number of things could contribute to that. And by the way, I haven't played basketball really in years, so it'd probably be hard. It'd be hard for me to be at an 8 without that being reintegrated or something similar, something similarly joyful. So 6 is probably the right answer to me because I do sleep, I do walk, get a reasonable amount of exercise, and I eat better than I probably almost ever have because I cook more than I have. It obviously started for financial reasons,
right?
But it's obviously had health benefits too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I enjoy it. I enjoy it as kind of an outlet. Yeah. So where would you guys put your health at right now?
So that's interesting. I also would say a 6. Spiritually, I'm probably 6.5. To where I want to be, and to where I have been. I think maybe a 7. People have been really, our group has been very helpful in sort of helping us keep believing and keep with the faith. So I think that's been really great. Physically, I'm excited because we just got wonderful care for Carlito, and so I can start riding my bicycle again.
Yes, so we have a little more time.
Yes, I have a little bit more time.
Now we have more structure, we have infrastructure.
Right.
So that we can also refocus on
Right. And so that actually is what really excites me because I feel like I can get back up.
Be so careful with that, though, because the other thing, there was a football player recently, a quarterback, who lost control of his Tesla, and he unfortunately passed away, Dominic Ponder. I don't know whether it was fast or what have you, but it's just such a reminder that even a car that's supposed to be a smart car, autonomous, like stuff can happen to us. Things can change in a heartbeat.
It can, and then there for the grace of God, there go I, right?
Wow.
Because like all of us now, well, Carlos me and Dad now have been in a life-threatening car accident, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it was 2019 where the car rolled over 3 times. It came back on all 4. All the window shields and everything were out, but it stopped right next to this wall. Brick wall, yes. And literally all these cars stopped on the side of the road, and this woman got out and said it literally looked like an angel picked up the car and placed it down, right? That was just the grace of God, right?
Well, your point is, I was saying be careful even as we pursue our joys.
Right.
And I think part of what you're saying is that's right, because at any given moment something can happen, and we know it firsthand. Okay, so you'd say 6, and Bev, where would you put yourself?
So it's interesting, in terms of spiritual health, I think it's probably more like an 8. But in terms of physical health and like being where my body is both functioning well, the stamina, it's deteriorated. So I actually would put it at a 6. That was what I had in my head. I don't intend for it to stay there.
Right.
And so thinking about what I need to do to get me on a different journey. So I think Carolyn spoke a little bit about the infrastructure we now have for childcare. I think about, the clients I have that I love, but I'm traveling more. And so you need to take care, like travel wears on your body too. And so the stamina that you need, and then eating
and sleeping.
But so much of this is mindset. Like I think about Chef Babette, who I had a chance to sit down with. She's a vegan chef. She's 75, but looks and moves like she's 30, can do 100 push-ups.
Wow.
And has survived what is a really difficult life, 4 marriages, crack addictions, just the way she looks at what she eats, how she thinks about exercise, how she thinks about anxiety, worry, God, humanity, fairness, morality. So she's definitely someone I feel like I've learned from when it comes to what good health can look like. And my friend Jose, who is 90, who exercises 2 hours a day, who grew up here in the Bay Area, who does push-ups, does the whole thing, looks great, dances 3 times a week, and is always reminding me to, Carlos, keep exercising, stay in it.
So I went to the gym for the first time in like a couple of months on Saturday, and it was nice because I woke up really early to take Dad to like a men's fellowship retreat, which is right next to the gym. And it was so wonderful. And I'm like, okay, now I'm getting back. So I can see it. And what you're saying, sometimes getting up in this event, which is, I remember a former boyfriend of mine saying that, oh, you watch, Bev, when you turn 40, your body's gonna hurt. I was like, yeah, whatever. And I'm like, oh. So it is a mindset, and I'm excited about this new journey of health and wellness. And even I know some of your guests, Carlos, that you're going to talk to, is going to talk about biohacking and what kinds of retreats do we go on that renews and rejuvenates
you know
your
what? You
mind.
know what another one of the healths are?
What?
Just as I'm hearing you talk, that I think probably affects most of us, and we probably don't count it in our health, is financial health.
Oh, absolutely.
I think financial health and relationship health should be sitting alongside physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. I think those two healths are critical. I remember a friend I once had used to say, you're only as happy as your least happy child. And I thought that was so thoughtful, that so often our own happiness isn't only tied to us, but it's tied to the happiness and the well-being of other people that we care about. And so
I love that. I love that you actually added financial and relationship.
Yes.
One of the things that's been so beautiful through this season is some of these relationships. I've reconnected with a lot of my Christian fellowship friends at Georgetown. We said, let's do a reunion, because here are these folks who mean so much to us at such a formative time. And like yesterday on Sunday, we had a Zoom, and just connecting with people who you love and love you, some of whom you haven't seen in a long time. And it was like there's something that we're supposed to give each other. We're supposed to encourage and move. Eric Mann was there, and Heather Taylor, and Barry. So it was such a beautiful thing that I felt like that gave life. And so I'm excited to reconnect.
The relational piece. I think that is component, especially for relational people. I mean, first of all, we're all social beings, so we are all social. And I think though some of us, though, whether you're extrovert or introvert, can be fed differently, right? And so I guess we're all extroverts actually here. And so being able to be fed through your relationships, I think makes a big difference.
And even a particularly good romantic relationship, just like financial health, can have you feeling a level of stability and a level of support and possibility and just joy that probably
joy
just
and
infuses
camaraderie.
Yeah. And you end up at its best with a partner who's helping you think about those other healths too. Probably should wrap up, but as we wrap up, what about two things? Number one, what is the most unusual good piece of advice you've ever gotten or learned about being healthy?
I remember I was in high school. Again, I used to run track and sprinting. And I remember as a part of track, we had to go to the gym. And I remember being in the gym and there was this woman next to me. She probably was in her 40s or so. And she was just like, well, why are you here? And I'm like, oh, because I'm just getting stronger. And I'm just organized. She's like, wow, that's so good that you're doing that. She was just like, whatever you do, continue doing what you're doing right now because you're going to need it when you're younger, when you're older, right? And that. And another thing, when I was in college, Professor Shipes, Dr. Shipes told me, she's like, Carolyn, be mindful of your habits now. Your habits now are going to carry you throughout the rest of your life. And she's like, the way you eat now is going to impact how you eat because right now you're in school and you're active and you're going out and you're doing all this stuff. But once you graduate, you may not be able to exercise. You may not be able to do all this stuff. And if you still keep eating a whole bunch at late hours and all that kind of stuff, that's going to follow you. So be careful. So that was also, I think, really important information that helped me.
Bev, give us a quick one. What is your best piece of advice you've ever gotten or learned on your own about staying healthy?
Be careful about emotional eating. And if you're doing that, that must mean there's something else that's going on, i.e., and figuring out what else you can do. And so finding some tools. And for me, it's like singing or like praising or like getting up. Because if you're doing that and you're eating those chips, why are you eating those chips mindlessly? That means there's something wrong, and to attend that. So
one of the best things that ever happened for me was the stationary bike. Finding something that I could find anywhere that I could do for 5 minutes or for an hour was one of the most helpful things I did. And one of the best things I did was convincing myself to be consistent. Even if I can't get a perfect full hour like I want or what have you, it's better to take 10 minutes than to take 0. I think a second one was, if you're encountering something difficult and you know that you're worn down and tired, to try and sleep a little bit. And also to be really intentional about who you surround yourself with while you're navigating that tough decision. Because making a bad, chaotic, rushed, important decision, that can unleash its own chaos, which will affect your mental, your spiritual, maybe your financial, your other health. And so really taking that strategic pause, that positive pause, and really trying to figure out how to get to a better place, I think is incredibly important, and I think is a piece of it.
And maybe the two other things I would say is, you talk about social capital and the relational piece, and that really is wealth. And like, again, as Carolyn said, if you are a relational person, and so taking time to connect. For me, when I don't get a chance to connect with my friends and connect with people who love me, who see me, that's like endorphins. And so it's really wise for me to take that time to connect. And then the other thing I would say is that, intellectual capital, spending time and getting your mind right, reading, and
you know what, that's so interesting. I take that for granted, and I think you're right. I think I've been blessed to be around you guys and others, and also to be interested in a wide range of things.
Curiosity.
And so I think
Yes.
that mental health, I probably take that for granted, but I
Yes.
probably have been better off than most because I have not often felt bored or not often
And
felt.
because you have a curious mind, and so you're not bored because you're asking questions.
Yeah, that's good. Sorry, one of the last ones I remember was Mel Robbins, the life coach, and she talked about the countdown method, and she talked about having a thought, and sometimes we have a good thought, but then time gets in between and we don't do it, and so then there's regret and there's more. And she says, when the good thought comes to mind, count yourself down. 6. I should get out of bed. Okay, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get out of bed. I should go to the gym. Okay, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But I think that's real power because I do think it's easy to get paralyzed, overwhelmed.
Well, the hardest part of anything is starting it. So like getting to the gym. I love swimming, but again, then your hair you have to do your hair, you have to get and it's cold when you first get in. But once you're in, oh my gosh, I don't want to get out, right? And so, I think that could be the hardest part is starting. And so just that idea and that tool of just counting down. Get you past that.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I hope this is a really good one. I like the way both of you keep encouraging our viewers, our community, our family to tell us what you've learned, because we've got stuff to learn from you. So if there have been great tools that have made you healthy, if there are different ways you think about health, I feel like I'm constantly on the lookout.
I am too, and
this.
frankly, I'm in this mind space to try to do something differently. So I know that these supplements work. I don't like it when it's like 5 billion, but I also know I want to move my body. I want my body to feel good. I want to have that stamina, and so I am on this journey. So I'd love to learn what other folks have learned, what works for you.
Wouldn't it be interesting if, as a community, as a twist, I don't know if you guys know now, but you're twisty, that people are referring to the Watson Stronger Together as twist. That's what our friend Michelle calls us over in Spain. So Michelle, thank you, from Southern California originally. But maybe one of the beautiful things this community could do actually is almost do like a community health journey, because some of my best health journeys haven't started on my own, but have started because I had a friend who wanted to give up coffee and I gave up soda, and we did that together. So I think that could be a real opportunity for everybody, including this little one. Okay, all right. Since the time monitor's here, maybe we should let him say hello, or maybe you want to join us for this send-off? What's the most fun thing you did today? You went to school?
The Watson Stronger Together.
Okay. I agree. That was the most fun thing we did today. All right. Hey guys, come see us every week. Every Monday, we got a little bit of magic for you. So don't stay away, and in fact, invite a friend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rocky, baby.